Childhood is fleeting. The game will end when you reach age 20. You should focus on the few skills, improve, and friends to spend time with. Use the skills and friends button on the top left of the screen to keep track of them. Gotcha. We have this, the medallion. Mysterious Stranger 1. We're close to the Tangent and Cow. Alrighty. I think we do another thing of life science, and then we go from there. You're bringing supplies to medbay when you see something unusual. Tangent curled up on a bench, her head pillowed on a rolled-up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You've never seen Tangent sleeping. She's always so busy. You're surprised she even has time to nap. You turn to leave her in peace when you bump into an anemone. Whoa, she says. She hardly ever sleeps, like a couple hours a night. You sick or something? You learn Tangent's augment. I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement. She hardly ever needs to sleep. She probably stays up all night studying for this morning's history test. Shh. Let her sleep. Her holopad beeps a soft alarm. She sits up and stretches before looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching her and looks annoyed. Just a power nap. No reason to gawk. As you're getting older, challenges can have conditions. They can the challenge suit social, mental, physical determines what conditions can appear and what decks will work best. Okay. Try to collect social yellow cards if you want to win battles for social skills, empathy, persuasion, creativity, and brawn. Noted. Alrighty, we're just getting a couple more on the biology. So much has happened last month since the monster attack during Glow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has been shattered. The security guards are training new members and keeping close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls and even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again. In excitement, you forgot today was your birthday. Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up early with enthusiastic shouts of surprise. Vertanen year is only a little longer than a year on Earth, so you've taken up its calendar for birthdays. Yours is the second month of quiet. Your spark snowfly driftly past your porthole window as you snuggle with your dad. Your mom climbs up too and sits on the edge of the bed. Your dad pulls a bowl of fruit from behind his back and flourishes like a magic trick. At least you think it's fruit. What are those? Bobber fruit. Your dad grins. The foragers have been picking these just outside the wall. They might look funny, but they're very tasty. Try one. +1 to a card chain suit to mental. You take a cautious bite. The pulp is soft and tastes a bit like lemon, only more blue. I bet you can't wait to join the surveyors out there. Who knows what else you'll find. Thanks, Snorts. Ulana is not allowed outside the gates, your mom interrupts, her voice sharp. It's too dangerous for kids. Well, I know, but eventually. But your mom cuts him off again. But not now. Not since the attack. Not with everything we know is out there now. You knew about the monsters. Admit it. Your parents exchange a heavy look. The surveyors knew there was something dangerous out there we hadn't encountered yet. Your mother admits after a guilty silence, but we didn't know it would attack the colony. We thought if we closed the gates and stayed inside, it wouldn't see us as a threat. We didn't want to scare everyone, your dad adds. It was just a precaution. Thanks, Snorts. Thanks for the hydrate. Even still, your mother says, it's clear that everyone should know how to defend themselves if it happens again. To be clear, this includes knowing when to run away, your dad adds. Security Chief Red offering self-defense classes at the garrison, you know. Even for kids, if you're interested, you should drop in sometimes. Your mom gives you a stern look. And I've heard stories of kids sneaking outside the wall. If I catch you doing that, I'm gonna put a chip in your ear. You laugh. What a good joke. Your mom doesn't laugh. I'll do what I want. The argument does not win you any favors with your mother, because fuck her. I'm independent, Mom. Alright. I could honestly play this game for a very long time. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though. I want to get some other things done. So we're getting to the point where we're relaxing. Let's poach Mars and Dice. Okay, but you do stink, you hear Mars defend herself. It's not my fault that you can't tell. Maybe your nose stopped working, but the rest of us can smell it. And she waves her hand in front of her nose and makes a PU gesture, then turns to you. He smells awful, right, Solana? Stop being so mean, Mars. Friendship with Dice and not with Mars. You stand toe-to-toe with Mars, she glares at you, then Dice. Ugh, fine. I'm sorry, Dice. I'm just trying to help, but I should have said it in a nicer way. Not everyone in life is going to tell you the truth, you know? We took the month off. I want to keep these cards. I don't think, like, I really have, like, they're bad memories. Like, there are ones that could actually goof us. Near the end of Late Quiet, and we're a little more... I guess we're gonna do defense classes. You attend your first session of Security Chief Red's self-defense classes. It's a small class, mostly security officers and other adults. You and Anemone are the only children. She gives you a wink and cheesy thumbs up as you listen to Red rant about how everyone in the colony needs to learn self-defense. You would be walking alone, thinking you're safe within the walls, and a flying animal could swoop out of the sky. Then what would you do? Rhett chops the air with his hands. I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to chop that beast right in the throat. Hiya! Points at the class, but only if you learn what I'm going to teach you. And only way to learn is by doing. Who wants to volunteer for a demonstration? Step forward. Security chief doesn't scare you, or so you pretend. Rhett is like the biggest adult you know, and he's so intense. You step forward. Rhett nods as he crouches down. Okay. He says, I'm a manticore, stalking you through the forest. What do you do? I kick it in the face! Try to kick Rhett in the face as he approaches you. He easily grabs your foot and flips you on the mat. Ouch. Wrong. Use your brain, Solana. First thing you do is call for help, then you run. Grabs your forearm, hauls you off the ground. Only engage with the enemy when there's no other alternative. No one walks away from a fight without getting hurt, so the first rule of self-defense is not to put yourself in a situation where you need the fight. An enemy thinks you're cool for acting tough. She gives you another thumbs up. Once you've learned situational awareness, we'll move on to hand-to-hand self-defense, drawing on a variety of martial arts. Only when I'm confident that you're ready, we'll advance to weapons. There aren't that many weapons in the colony, mostly stun gloves and batons with a few plas rifles. You hope you don't have to use them, but it'll be good to know how. Alrighty. I'll go bink, 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 bink. Super goal, which means we'll get a buff. We'll get a little goodie for our good things. Get some more combat. Great. We get a little more with animals, so this is good. Because we start with 10. Some stress. We'll probably go focus on some self-defense for a bit. Though our mother will hate it. Alright, Anemone, what's up? So then I trapped in my room, Anemone says, telling you about a bug she saw in the corners. Its wings were big as my hands. Its feelers like, whoa! It was bouncing all over the place like boing, boing, boing. She gestures excitedly, swinging her arms overhead. The bugs are here, so big, and they're everywhere. I was going to give it a tang, she says. She loves gross bug stuff, but she said I should just let it go, because if it stung me, I might get weird mutant powers. I mean, other than the one I already have. And I wanted to see if I got more weird mutant powers, so I started jumping around off higher and higher until I was jumping off the back of the ship, and I got in so much trouble it wasn't even that high. She stops in her track. Hold on, she says, stooping to rub irritably at her knees for probably the 100th time in the past 5 minutes. I'm going to die. Bust out my knee. It's so itchy when my scales grow in. Kenny, don't pick at it. Chief Steward Indecent voice rings across the garrison yard, pleasant but firm. It instantly transports you back to the ship's crash, tugging on her skirt and calling her auntie. An enemy jumps and stands straight up, her hands flying to her side. Mom! An enemy whines, digging her fingers into her knees as Auntie Sedent approaches you. It's so scratch-tastically itchy. I know, lovely. Sedent soothes her, patting down her riotous red hair. But the more you pick at it, the thicker your scales are going to grow in. Nemni tucks her hands under her armpits to keep from scratching. But what if I want to have cool scales? At the rate you're going, I'm sure you'll be covering them before you know it. No need to rush it. Her skin is dotted with patches of protective blue-green scales that grow in whenever she gets a cut or scrape. She rubs the patches on her jaw indignantly. The one she got when she ran headfirst into the food synthesizer back on the ship. Augmented, and Sedent opens her satchel and places a bundle of pulls out a bundle of cloth. The queue for the nano printer is over a week long, so I patched your pants with scraps from your brother's clothing. Please try not to put any more holes in them or yourself, okay? She hands the clothes to Anemone and kisses her on her forehead, sticks out her tongue and gags. Yuck. Evaluates the clothing her mother as her mother walks away. Galactic. She breathes as she runs her fingers over the odd-colored patch. And right there in the middle of the yard, she unshamefully squirms out of her pants and puts on the new ones. Wow, I look like a fighter jet from the Hollows, she says, showing off her new pants. Like when they'd stencil your kill count on your plane. Or like a really cool scar. Oh yeah, you get it. My pants are scarred, just like me. What a goob. I'm sneaking out, baby. I'm sneaking out! You ain't stopping this fucker. Alright. You let your mind wander as you're walking around, bumble straight into the field of gelatinous blobgrass. Totally transparent, the sticky fronds are hard to see, but even harder to ignore, especially since they start glomming onto your boots and slow you down. It's like trudging through thick mud. You stubbornly decide to keep going, pay attention, close attention to the visible signs of the grass field, and there aren't many, just an absence of other vegetation. Look through a path. Try to find a path through it. 27, huh? What if? Bink, 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 bink. We only need 6. We go 0, 0, 2, 2, 2. Super goal! Hell yeah! We're starting to get to the point where we actually can do these better. We have been struggling with it. There it is. You can hop along from that rock to that fallen log, then climb over those old pieces of surveying equipment. You get through the villainous blobgrass. Some farmland has spilled outside the wall. The fields don't look like they're doing very well. Nobody's around right now. In fact, it looks a bit abandoned. There are some meager-looking crops ready to harvest, but animals are starting to get at them. Salvage. You pick up a handful of winkly tubers. They're probably supposed to be potatoes eventually, or maybe some yams. It's hard to tell. dig around a little longer, but it's all pretty picked over. You spot a suspicious regular mound of dirt. Maybe something's buried there. Poke it with the stick. You cautiously break off a branch and nod the suspicious mound, looking for signs of movement, but nothing. You poke further and discover it is in fact just a regular pile of dirt, nothing more. Spot Uncle Tonin, Chief Surveyor Tonin, that is, bumbling around, prepping some automated survey equipment. He's very cautious. Jumpy even. He's making a lot of noise. Every few minutes he'll pause to listen and check his surroundings and go back to banking. He shouldn't be hard to avoid if you want to get if you don't want to get caught sneaking. Perception is easy. Okay, cool. That's 9. We could get it done this round, which means 0. Okay, actually we'll go 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. Super goal! Nice. We're too sneaky, chat. We're too sneaky. They just can't find us. You sneak past Tonin easily while he makes noise and ducking down when he stops to check his surroundings. Nearby pond has dammed up and washed out the path here. The path continues on the other side. Bravery! Bink, 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 bink. We gotta somehow make a 10 from this. Nice. We're doing all right. No skill change. You bravely fall in and get wet. What? You flounder towards the other side, soaked but victorious. Fuck. What is this thing? There's a there in the clearing, the most majestic creature you've ever seen. It's like a unicorn from your dad's storybooks, but with leather reptilian skin that shines with the light that hits it. It moves so softly, like it doesn't even disturb the ground. It could be dangerous, but you want to see what it does. We're gonna try to be perceptive. All right. All right. 1 less stress. 2, 2, 2, 2. Super goal! Nice. As you settle in to watch it from behind a strand of mush trees, the Unisaur looks up towards you. Startled by your movement, try to hold perfectly still and quiet. You're breathing. After a tense moment, it goes back to its business. First, it sniffs out a good tree, rubs the scent glands on its neck against it thoroughly, then appears, like a waterfall, a crystal waterfall, on a rock. Everything it does seems magical. You quietly take a picture with your hollow palm, but you know you can't share it or you'll get caught for sneaking out. Next, it sharpens up its horn against a rock, which it scored with marks from having done it before. This must be its favorite sharpening rock. You notice the bulge in its stomach. It must have had a huge meal recently. Eventually, it curls up for a nap. You quietly sneak away. This was so wonderful. Autumna is a magical place. So we actually can sneak out a little bit more now and check things, because we calm down. The planet's full of all sorts of bugs, little wrigglers, hopping beetles, shining creeper, and snaily things. Oh my. The You crouch in the long grasses and explore a square meter in great detail. There's so much to see. You don't even know what any of these things are. They might not even have names yet. Touch one. You touched it. We've come to see a cluster of mush trees. They're not fully grown yet, but they're still pretty big. It might be good to harvest them before they get all gross and mushy during the rain season. If you're older, you probably cut them down and get some kudos for them. Give them a friendly pat. You got some animal and perception. You like the mush trees. You give one pat and a surprise when it moves under your hand. Not the tree though, but a camouflage creature lying against the truck. It's small, looks like an octopus or starfish. Has a lot of legs wrapped around the tree like it's giving it a hug. Dice. Spot Dice sitting in the clearing, but not before he sees you first. Instead of sneaking away as usual, he stays still as you approach. Like it's totally natural he'd be sitting in the middle of a jungle so far away from the colony walls. Now that you think about it, you're a little glad to see him. So far away that you can't see the walls anymore, and it's really weird out here, and it's getting late. He stares unblinkingly as you approach. Hi, Solona, is all he says. Hi, Dice. He seems to be in a good mood, something you see very rarely. Did you see Utopia out there? Chief Surveyor Tonin is easy to sneak past, but Utopia has like X-ray vision or something. She'll catch you for sure if you get too close. Caught me once and I got in big trouble. How about I show you something cool? Sneaking out will be our secret, okay? He jumps and walks a little ways in the trees. You follow. Just a few minutes away, the ground drops off and a large stone outcropping just out over the cliff face. Dice walks to the edge without slowing. It's a long way down. Come on. Bravery test. Alrighty, how do we want to do this one? Na 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 na. What if we went bing, 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 bing? Okay. Nice. We got that with the scores. We passed that. We get a -1 to stress. You bravely step on the rock and you walk out to the edge with Dice. Both sit down, feet dangling over the precipice, and look out the amazing view. It's incredible. You snap a picture with your hollow palm, though you can't share it on the net. This is your secret, yours and Dice's. Keep exploring. You stop for lunch, eating an earth treat grown from your own greenhouse, a watermelon. Practice spit and seeds, get some combat skill in there. This little guy. There isn't a cloud in the sky, but yet it started to rain. You can't tell where it's coming from or whether it's even water. Given how this planet is full of surprises, it's probably some animal migration or airborne tree sap. Who knows? Find shelter and wait it out. Some stress. The rain just won't let up. You sit for hours under a large mushroom-capped tree, watching tiny blind creatures like worms wriggle out of the mud and swim around in the newly formed puddles. When they meet another of their species, the worms line up side by side, seeming to compare lengths. Then the shorter one bites on the tail end of the longer one. In this way, they gradually all combine into one long creature, which fills the whole puddle. You're worn out and tired to continue. You have to go home now. You crawl through the big drainage pipe behind the sports ball pitch, sliding out of the metal grate. I do not have the perception to see if it's safe. I am 13 out of the 20 needed. And straight to the barrel chest of Tonin. Well, 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 he says, trying to put on a sternest look. It fails. I wonder where you disappeared to, Solona. I sent Utopia out with some surveyor drones to look for you hours ago. You're lucky your parents have been too busy to notice. I should probably tell them. You start to sweat, but maybe you've already learned your lesson. No more playing outside the gates, okay? I'm sorry. Bravery and perception. Alright, I think this is where we're gonna end this one. This game. Oh, it's so much fun. I could play it so many more hours. If I do, that's all I'm gonna do today. I need to switch up a little bit. I will in fact, this may surprise you, I may in fact seek fluid intake. Already.